The Get Down offers a sometimes playful, sometimes heart-wrenching examination of duality, especially in its core thematic exploration of the popular arts as a source of both damnation and salvation. This is a Netflix original series about the rise of hip-hop in the Bronx amidst the glamour of disco. It's presented in 2 parts by Netflix, which actually means 11 episodes across what are basically 2 short seasons. In 2 parts, people will expect 2 parts, not 11. By people, I mean me. It's me. I'm the one it confused. Speaking of confusion, temporality in the show is regularly out of joint. The story is a flashback to the late 70s, told not from the present day, but from 1996. Not a negative, just strange. As audiences, we've been experiencing a wave of nostalgia texts in recent years, which harness the sound of the 70s like Guardians of the Galaxy, or the look of the 80s like Stranger Things, but almost all for the sake of aesthetic. There's nothing wrong with this approach, but the Get Down's refusal to ignore the reality of its setting is commendable, with the constant presence of cigarette billboards and the regular inclusion of true trends, people, and events in its storylines, even making use of real archive footage. Instead of the glamour and glory New York the TV so often gives us, we're presented with corrupt officials, arson, and the NYC blackout of '77 and the subsequent looting. The show admires a lot about the 70s, but isn't about to let us be swept away in a retro daydream. The ensemble cast is truly brilliant, and I didn't recognize Baz Luhrmann's handiwork until the credits rolled on the first episode, which impresses me. Baz and we don't get along. The Get Down isn't subtle, but apart from the constant Star Wars is new references, I didn't feel like I was being treated like an idiot for the sake of setting the scene. The larger-than-life cinematography of Part 1 to create a sense of comic realism was a masterstroke, and I was disappointed to lose it to the literal comic animations of the second. I only wish the illusion of Shaolin Fantastic's legendary surreality hadn't been cut so short. The Get Down is good. It's well-produced, well-performed, has interesting subject matter, but it didn't grip me. I was never filled with thrilling anticipation for the next episode, and maybe that's fine given the binge-based nature of Netflix. But if that's the case, and The Get Down is hoping for audience retention through what's become the classic Netflixian model, then why open every episode with an extended recap of the events previous? Why let some of the most interesting events fall into these cracks between episodes? I'm giving it 3 Misty Holloway remixes out of 5. It might be too odd for the straight-laced and too real for the odd, but it's worth watching through the first episode to decide that for yourself.